anyone who is among the living has hope. Even a live dog is better off than a dead lion. Ecclesiastes 9:4. Hey everyone, this is Amanda from devotioninaction.com, and we have made it to day 4 of the Hope Challenge. We're in Ecclesiastes here, and I've got this little line drawing of just a little dog, and I wanted this to be not a purebred, wonderful dog, but just one that looked like a mutt. Because it doesn't have to be a special dog for it to be alive, right? So I've just got this line drawing of this dog, and it is going to be a very simple, kind of subtle watercolor job on this. As I was thinking about this idea, I kind of thought about how in the Bible we always think of lions as being this biblical animal. People do gorgeous paintings of lions, the Lion of Judah, and lions are majestic. They're the king, the height of the animal kingdom, and a dog is a dog. I mean, people love their dogs, but a dog is a dog. But in this scripture it says even a live dog is better than a dead lion. While we are living, we can have hope. We don't have to have special qualifications or be incredibly intelligent. We can have hope just because we are alive. And we can have even more hope because the Spirit of God is alive within us. So as I'm starting to watercolor here today, then I'm going to lay down just a really light kind of tannish color on this dog. So I'm using kind of a medium-sized round brush, but it has a real small tip on the end of it. It comes to a really sharp point so that I can get into small spaces and still use the same brush. I took some of that brown and added in some gray to it, and I'm going over the places where it would naturally be in shadow or darker. The legs that are underneath part of the sbody, where his head kind of overlaps the body and there would be a shadow there. And then I thought, you know what, I'm going to make those spots even darker. I want him to be kind of splotchy. This is a mutt. We're going to make him all splotchy with brown and gray and some other, just kind of tones in there. Because this is just an ordinary old fluffy dog. We're ordinary people. And how many of you know that when you're reading the Bible, we can see that God uses ordinary people to do extraordinary things in the Bible? So here I've taken some of the black coat. So you can see on my palette how around the center of that large well in the center of the palette, around the edges of that, the paint is darker. It dries kind of crusty in those corners. And so as I drag it into the center to mix, then it changes colors and it adds more water into it. But in those edges, it's still pretty dark. So I can go grab some of that darker black to do the shadowing and edges there. And you'll notice I also put it around the sides of the dog's kind of muzzle, where that would stick forward and the ears would be behind. That would be a little bit darker. It would be in shadow. And then you can see I'm going to just bring in those kind of yellowish browns, and pull that down. One of the things that you want to do as you're watercoloring, and you want to end up with darker spots in places. If you get something too dark in a lighter spot, you just keep working that paint, and wherever you pick up your brush off of the paper will be the darkest point, typically, because you're pooling the water there. And so the paint is going to get darker wherever you drag it to and then pick up your brush off the page. Wherever you left off last, that's going to be the darkest. And I didn't want him, it just felt like he was kind of floating in space. And I wanted to ground him a little bit, so I took a little bit of that blue, mixed in some gray, and I'm giving him like concrete to stand on, I guess. Or it could be a puddle if you want. He could be standing in a puddle on a rainy day. It doesn't have to be good weather for him to have hope. He's got hope simply because he's breathing. And I think there are some days in our lives where we have to realize that God has given us hope simply because we are breathing and we have Him on our side. Here you're noticing that I'm coming along with almost absolutely clear water. I've got a little bit of blue in it, but I'm especially coming around those edges. You can do a lot of cleaning up with clear water on watercolors. So when I took some clear water and some of the paint has bled across the line, and it was a little bit more than I wanted it to bleed across there. Watercolors are kind of fun that they kind of go different places, and it's okay to go over the lines, but it was a little bit messier than I wanted it to be. So I took clear water and picked up that paint with the brush. So really, really, watercolors very, very forgiving. You can pick up that paint that's in the wrong spot and move it around with just some clean water on your brush. And that is basically all there is to this little dog on the page here. I noticed that darker color is bleeding a little bit more than I want onto that muzzle, and so again I'm taking some clear water and kind of spreading that around in there and making it just kind of a light gray into a white. And I'm pretty happy with this little guy right now. I'm gonna just hit it really quickly with a heat tool and dry it up so that I can write with my pen on top of the paint. And grab that pen, and I'm just going to add, for right now, I'm just going to add the hashtag DIA Hope Challenge. And you can hashtag that in all of your posts when you post on Instagram or Facebook. If you just type that in the comments or in the description box when you post one of your journaling entries or your thoughts about a devotional, then anyone can search that hashtag and see all of the posts that people have posted. So I'm just dating it and adding hashtag DIA Hope Challenge. And then I can come back later if I want and journal a prayer, or you could journal just your thoughts about a time when you didn't feel like you had a lot of hope going on in your life, but God gave you hope to keep on, to keep continuing on. So here is day 4 of the Hope Challenge. I would love to see what you've done today and your thoughts about this devotional, maybe even a story from some time in your life. Don't forget to share some love with other people who are posting in our Facebook group, and I will see you there. Have a great day.